What is up, members of the No Bot Zone CFM? This is the professor coming at you with the week 3 edition of Prof's Corner. Got a lot of stuff to talk about, a lot of really fun things happened this week, and a lot of really cool things happened in some of these games. So a lot of stuff to recap here. So let's get into it. So this week was led by one of the most anticipated matchups of the year. It was Reezy Comrade, the Lions owner, the self-proclaimed purest passer in PYB CFM history, taking on the Dirty Nightman. Now, if we remember correctly, the Dirty Nightman said he was going to cock down virtually his next opponent. And then when it came game time, he said, "When will my meatballs meet your potatoes?" Which meant, when were they going to strap it on and stick it in? His words, guys. So, of course, that got everybody quite excited for this matchup. And at the time, Reezy, who never sleeps, was nowhere to be found. So the matchup happened the next day. So even more anticipation for this matchup, right? So game gets underway. Fireworks ensued. There were touchdowns going back and forth. Reezy's pass offense was on display. Ragusa's unreal stick work was also on display. But at the end of the day, Aaron Rodgers, escape artist Aaron Rodgers, hit the discount double check a couple times. He was too much to handle, and Reezy and the Lions pulled off the big win there. Now, next we're going to get into, we got a new Browns owner. Dude's got a good stream, talks a lot of shit, also very polite, very interesting combo. But in this one, as he was warming up, he admittedly said, "I run a pretty scummy offense." Refreshing for a bunch tight end guy to admit that bunch tight end's pretty scummy. So I like that about you. But the win for this one came from the fact that he hit an onside kick in the first half. Surprise, obviously. Debating still. Now, he says you can call a timeout or audible. I'm still pretty sure you can't. So, debatable. May have a rule coming up that may affect that moving forward. But, again, going back, I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt because you did admit your offense was scummy. And, you know, Dez, do you want to step up and admit that as well? Just saying. So, moving on to the third point before we hit our quick hitters, we got to talk about Willie Peso, Panthers owner. Through 3 weeks, this man has outscored his opponent 138 to 23. 138 to 23. That is ridiculous. Over the last 2 weeks, he's only allowed 7 points to his opponents while putting up 100 points. His last 2 weeks is 100 to 7. Willie was always really good on offense. But if he's got a defense to match right now, Willie's going to be a problem in the NFC for sure. Now, let's roll into the quick hitters. I'm going to be honest with you. Through 2 weeks, it was all offense all the time. And we saw a lot of points scored in these games, but we're going to be talking a lot about defense this time because there were a lot of really interesting defensive things that happened in week 3. So, Panthers, Willie won 42 to 7 this week. Holds his opponents to 76 pass yards, 73 rush yards. So just not allowing him to move the football at all while he was just moving it at will. Dak Prescott having huge numbers once again. Again, Willie's going to be a problem. Colts, 66 to 7. Numbers are a little skewed for a variety of reasons. We're going to leave that out. But it was his first game with Henry Ruggs. So if you didn't pick Henry Ruggs in fantasy, you should have. Because if somebody gets Henry Ruggs, Marquise Brown, Tyreek Hill, first game with him, they're going to throw him the ball a lot. And that's exactly what he did here. He threw it to him 8 times for 314 yards and 6 touchdowns. Huge day. Huge day. Now, he also said it was his first game with a real QB. So, you know, I had to go and look and see because before it was old-ass Taysom Hill. He only upgraded to Ryan Tannehill. So, still not sure he's a real QB, but he is probably better than Taysom. So, we'll let him slide there. And then there's a little issue for the Titans. I don't know if you read the update, but apparently 1-year-old was acting as the head coach and calling the plays for the second half of that game, or maybe most of that game. So, hoping Major TN is going to be getting that under control moving forward. But I understand because, you know, my 6-year-old was calling plays a couple weeks ago too. So, moving on to the Falcons game. So, the Falcons won 33 to 7. Trauma held his opponent under 100 total yards. Trauma may have finally found a defense he's comfortable in this year, which is great for Trauma because that's where he's been bouncing. But in the process of this, has managed to become even more of a bot than I thought he could be because His offense is now trips tight end, U trips, and pistol triple option. Need I say more? All right, moving on to Steelers 27-21 victory over the Bengals. Chase continues to have Seals' number, and as defense continues to be the theme, 8 combined interceptions in this one. 8 combined interceptions. That's a ton of turnovers. Had to have been an exciting game. I missed most of it. I know it went to OT. I know Chase won in OT, but awesome game. Lots of turnovers. Browns game, again, we already kind of visited this, but one of the most interesting things from this one in the 35-28 win that he did have, 2 of the scorers, the highest scoring player was Benardrick McKinney, linebacker, who was in at fullback and scored on goal line dives. So that's an interesting one there. Also, Haji did all his damage in jumbo. So if Haji's back in jumbo, it's going to be a fun ride for anybody who plays him. It looked really, really good. Do not let him get 3, however many tight ends he needs to run that scheme and be, super, super dangerous. Going back to the Lions and Ravens game, Reezy posted a perfect QB rating. He went 14-15 for 390 yards and 3 touchdowns. Again, his passing prowess on display the whole game. And then the Ravens, Ragus had 3 different runners over 50 yards. Again, stick work, unreal. That was a super fun one to watch, guys. Patriots 29-23 victory. Now, Dez, you did your thing. Your running back averaged an absurd 25 yards per carry, and you looked good as always. But let's talk about Darby. Darby, buddy, you looked unreal that game. Like, I've never seen you look like that. You were throwing it all over the place with Matty Ice. You managed to go 21-25 for 238 yards and 2 TDs, and you didn't throw a pick. Let's go, boy. That's awesome. All right. Broncos 49-21 win this week, or week 3. Through 3 weeks, Fessy has had Lamar averaging 400 yards passing a game. With Lamar and the threat that you always want to run with it, the fact that you're throwing for that many and you haven't really rushed for that many, that's impressive. Well done with Lamar through 3 weeks. Raiders, big bounce back here after a big loss in week 2 for the Raiders. Sean continues to impress with Davis Mills. Davis Mills went for 400 yards, 5 TDs in this one in a 42-2 victory. Sean's clearly rounding his way back into the CFM. Seahawks, Scacco, more bigger, more jump balls, more better. It is what our guy does. He just makes records-breaking plays and puts up record-breaking stats with the ageless wonder that is Tom Brady. This one he throws for 8 touchdowns. 3 of them went to Mike Evans. 2 of them went to DK Metcalf. Both those guys have red zone threat. I know 3 of them were jump balls, at least 3. One was not. One was a slant that I questioned, but he did have red zone threat. He did win the one-on-one. That is how that goes. Scacco looking good. Scacco did such an unbelievable job of building a team to fit what he does so well. I think he probably did it better than just about anybody else in the CFM. So he is going to be a tough stop, and you're just going to have to hope that you can somehow outscore him. Harp and Envy, you guys got to explain something to me. First of all, Harp, you didn't run, so I'm assuming you ran a completely different scheme than you did the week that you ran for 250 with Jalen. And then Envy only ran 14 plays on offense. He had 89 passing yards, 82 rushing yards, but he wins 24-10. Somebody explain to me how you only run 14 plays on offense in a game. Unbelievable. And then my last game, I won 42-14. Jordan Love had 3 touchdowns, 300 yards, and he ran one in. Aaron Jones had 100-plus yards and a touchdown. And then each of my big 3, Stephon Diggs, Odell Beckham, and DJ Shark all had a touchdown. So good game for me. We looked pretty solid. Had, I think, 5 sacks. So we looked pretty good. So, guys, that is it for the week 3 edition of the Props Corner. I hope you all have a great week 4 and a great night. Peace.